Yo, what's going on, guys? Matt here. And today's life story video is pretty straightforward. This is the story of what I did instead of going to my senior prom. Now, I did go to a junior prom that year as a senior, and I went with an old friend of mine who was a junior at the time, obviously, but it wasn't as great as I expected, or in other words, it just sucked. So, if you guys want to hear my junior prom life story video, I'll have a link to that video in the description below so you can view it whenever the hell you feel like it. But anyways, yeah, let's get right into the story. So this takes place about 2 years ago when I was a senior, obviously, and prom is getting closer and closer as each month goes by. Now, it's around late April, early May, around that time, and I have no clue what my plan is for prom. Normally around January or so, students would start planning what they're going to do for prom, like what they're going to wear, who they're going with, limo reservations, after parties, that kind of stuff. And of course, knowing me, I had nothing planned at all. And February, March, and April have been pretty tough for me because I was in like a deep depression and I was so negative about everything. So yeah, I really didn't give two shits about it. So a few weeks goes by and it's exactly 1 month before prom. And like I said, I had nothing planned at all. And I'm at the point where I'm deciding, should I go or should I just skip it and do something else? So the first thing I did was try to find a date. And even though it's very late, I still wanted to give it a shot. And weirdly, the first person I asked to prom was my ex-girlfriend, who, prior to me asking her out, dumped me 3 months ago. And why did I ask her out? I have no idea. I don't know what I was thinking. But at the time, I was like, screw it, why not? So I decided to text her the next day after school, not call her, not meeting up, but texting her, which is probably one of the worst ways to ask a girl out to prom. But we were going just as friends, so I didn't think it was that big of a deal. Plus, I was extremely busy that week, so I kind of had no choice. She took about an hour to answer, and she just texted no, nothing else. And I didn't respond to her. I basically just left her on read, and I was thinking to myself, well, I pretty much expected that. And then the next day, I had work, and I wanted to ask this girl that I work with if she wanted to go. I mean, she's really cool. I mean, we were the same age, we work really well, we get along. So I'm like, why the hell not? So what I did that day was probably the most corny and dry thing I've ever done. So during my break, I had a small order of french fries, and instead of eating them, I spelled out the word prom with a question mark on top of my tray. So I asked her while she wasn't doing anything to come over to the table and see something pretty cool. And she was like, sure. So I showed her the proposal, if you can even call it that. And without saying a word, she had this smirk on her face, and then 10 seconds later, she's like, come on, bro, really? And then after that, she continued to smile for a few more seconds, and then she said, aw, look, this is very thoughtful of you, but I'm kind of seeing this guy from my school, and I was going to ask him out. I'm sorry. And I was like, nah, it's totally cool, no worries. And then for the rest of my shift that night, I kind of felt embarrassed and weirded out because I literally just got rejected by one of my coworkers. So it was pretty embarrassing on my part. But, I mean, I try not to think about it too much, and I just finished the night off normally. I ended my shift at like 1:30 in the morning, and when I clocked out and went into my car, I took a long look at myself in the rearview mirror and asked myself, what the hell is wrong with me? And at this point, I'm like done with the whole finding a date thing. Being rejected twice in my mind meant at the time, screw it, give up. So that's what I did. I gave up. I was officially not going to prom. So I told my friends the next morning that I wasn't going to prom, and I found out that the two of my closest friends were not going to prom as well, but unfortunately all my other friends that I basically talked to in school were going, so that was a bummer. But at least two of my best friends were going, so that was good. So about a month goes by, it's the day of prom, and me and my two best friends were going to spend almost an entire day together. So we decided to first meet up at our spot, which is a parking lot, and then we did a lot of our usual activities. Like, we drove to a mall, we hung out there for a few hours, walked around, screwing around in like 20 random stores, plus walking around in the neighborhood near the mall. And then after that, we decided to go in an outlet near us, which is about 20 minutes over from where we lived. And in the outlets, we pretty much just did the same thing. We screwed around more, we went to 20 more stores and just walked around for hours and hours. And then we decided to have dinner at Johnny Rockets, and we decided to eat like $70 worth. After dinner, we decided to go back to the house. We drank a lot of Bang Energy and Rain Tall Body Fuel drinks. We played basketball and wiffle ball, and we even lit up a bonfire. And I had to say, that was probably one of the best nights I've ever had with the guys, ever. Even though my other friends went to prom, I still enjoyed the night with the boys and not giving a shit about anything. We ended up being with each other until like 2 in the morning, and my parents were kind of pissed off that I came home really late that night. But I was like, whatever. I didn't really care. I had a lit night, and I thought it was all worth it. My other friends did tell me the next morning that prom was pretty good, and some said it was okay. But I'm still glad I skipped prom and was able to hang out with the boys. And yeah, that's my story. If any of you haven't had your prom yet, and if you don't really plan on going, I recommend you do something similar to this. Obviously not the same exact thing, but something similar, and just use the day to enjoy yourself. Anyways, if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to drop a like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the post notification bell for more videos. I hope you all have an awesome day, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Coming down like a copter, Michael Murray on looking like a shotter, Louis Carry on feeling like a ganja, keep a very long shotty for imposters.